Hello, I want to share with you a book I just recently read, and it kind of wrecked me. It's called Genesis Begins Again. The reason I say it wrecked me is because I got really emotional as I read this book because I could really connect with Genesis. I could think back to her experiences and relate them to mine. So what is Genesis Begins Again about? As you can see, it's won lots of awards. Last year, it won William Seymour's debut award finalist. It was a Coretta Scott King Award finalist, and it was a Newbery Honor book. This was her debut book. So Alicia D. Williams wrote this book. It's about a young girl. She's 13, I think 7th grade. And they have been evicted from their apartment 3 times at least. This last time, they find all their furniture on the floor, on the ground in front of the apartment, like usual. Except this time they had actually arranged it, and she had just brought her friends home. She was totally embarrassed. She's from Detroit. Her father is an alcoholic and a gambler, and he just has a hard time with keeping his act together and keeping his family into a house and money. So anyway, here they go again. And so this time he found them a house in a nice neighborhood in a suburb, Farmington. And so Genesis is going to begin again in a new school, a nice school. She starts to have friends. But she also is haunted by all of the things that she has heard from her grandmother and from her father about, it's too bad you're so dark. It's too bad you have such kinky hair. It's too bad you didn't turn out like your mother, who was light-skinned with beautiful, soft hair. And of course, both her parents, her father and her grandmother, were just hoping for the best for her. So she tries all kinds of things to lighten her skin and straighten her hair. And she's just really, doesn't like herself. She hates herself. In fact, she comes up with a list of 96 things that she hates about herself. Well, meanwhile, at her school, there are some kids, of course, that have teased her in the past, but at this school, she's starting to have some friendships. And she has a teacher that actually reaches out to her, a music teacher, a choral teacher, and recognizes her vocal ability, teaches her about Billie Holiday and Ella Fitzgerald. And Genesis is starting to realize that, hey, those ladies came from a hard background, but they made it. And she gets some, that's good advice for her. Well, I connected with that too because in high school, I was also reached out by a music teacher, a choral teacher, and I sang, and that helped me too to get through some of those harder days in high school as a teenager. So Genesis Begins Again. I can't say that it's a longer book, and sometimes I'm like, oh, why do they write such long books for kids? But you know what? I think this keeps you thinking about what's going on and makes you reflect on what's going on in your own life. At least that's what it did with me. So for many days I was with Genesis, and some days I was even tearful thinking about her as I was going about my daily business. Genesis Begins Again. It's a book about colorism, really. It's a book about our beauty and our inner beauty and how we always try to be something else, something that we're not. And so it's a great book for teens. And you know what? Read it as an adult. You might really find that it's going to connect with you too. So Genesis Begins Again by Alicia D. Williams. I highly recommend it. I gave it a 5.